The night felt wrong from the moment Emily stepped through the door. A chill followed her like a shadow. She sensed something waiting in the silence. A distant noise echoed from the upstairs hallway. Her heartbeat stumbled as she moved closer. Nothing looked out of place, yet everything felt shifted. The air carried a tension she couldn't name. Her phone buzzed with a message she feared to open. A single line appeared, cold and sharp. Someone knew what happened last night, and they were already inside the house. Emily froze at the bottom of the stairs. The house felt too still, like it was holding its breath. Her fingers tightened around the railing. She replayed the message in her mind. Someone knew what she tried to bury. Someone had seen more than she realized. The floor creaked above her with a slow drag. She whispered a shaky call into the dark. No answer came from the hallway. Her pulse thudded in her ears like a warning drum. She forced herself to climb the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last. A faint light glowed beneath the guest room door. She remembered turning it off hours earlier. The doorknob felt cold under her palm. She pushed the door open inch by inch. The room was empty but disturbed. The curtains swayed though the window was shut. A drawer hung open with papers scattered. Someone had searched with purpose. She knelt and gathered the pages with trembling hands. They were old letters she never meant to see again. Letters tied to the night she regretted most. A shadow moved in the hallway behind her. She spun fast, nearly losing her balance. Only darkness greeted her startled eyes. She stepped out and checked each room carefully. Everything appeared untouched, but subtly wrong. As if someone walked ahead of her and erased their steps. Her phone buzzed again with another message. She hesitated before viewing the screen. The message contained a blurry photo. It showed her standing at the lake last night. She hadn't told anyone she went there. Her breath caught in her throat with fear. The lake was tied to the secret she carried. A secret she fought to lock away forever. She scanned the corners of the hallway nervously. A hint of movement passed near the stairs. She followed it with hesitant, quiet steps. The kitchen lights flickered as she approached. The back door sat slightly open. Cold air seeped in through the gap. She rushed to shut and lock it tight. Her hands shook as she slid the bolt. She checked the windows one by one. Every latch remained firm except one. The window near the pantry stood cracked open. She knew she hadn't touched it tonight. Her mind scrambled through possible explanations. None felt safe or believable anymore. A soft thud echoed from the living room. She turned slowly with rising dread. A faint shadow shifted across the far wall. It disappeared before she could react. She stepped forward with careful, measured breaths. Her eyes darted across furniture and corners. Something small lay on the coffee table. A silver pendant she hadn't seen in years. It belonged to someone she wanted to forget. Someone connected to the letters upstairs. She reached for it with trembling fingers. The moment she touched it, her phone buzzed again. Another message appeared with chilling precision. "Stop looking, I'm not done yet." Emily stared at the message until her vision blurred. The words felt like a trap closing around her. She forced herself to breathe through the panic. Someone was watching her every move tonight. Someone wanted her to know they were close. Her fingers tightened around the pendant in her hand. The metal felt colder than it should. Memories she buried years ago clawed back to life. She remembered the night the pendant disappeared. She remembered whose hands last held it. Her chest tightened with unwelcome recognition. She whispered a name she hoped was untrue. The room answered with silence thick as smoke. A sudden knock shattered the stillness. It came from the front porch with sharp urgency. Emily froze, unsure whether to run or hide. The knock repeated louder and more impatient. She approached the hallway with cautious steps. Her breath fogged in the chilled air. The porch light flickered through the glass frame. A tall shape stood behind the frosted pane. She could not make out a face. The figure didn't move or call out. It just waited with eerie patience. Emily stepped closer against her instincts. Her hand hovered near the door handle. She called out with a shaky voice. The figure remained still without answering. Her heartbeat hammered against her ribs. She backed away with quiet steps. The figure leaned forward against the glass. A faint outline of a hand pressed to it. Emily stumbled back in fear. Her phone buzzed in her pocket again. She grabbed it with trembling fingers. A new message lit the screen coldly. "Don't answer, that's not me." Her stomach dropped with violent dread. She looked back at the door in terror. The figure was still there, listening. It slowly lowered its hand from the glass. Then it turned, as if sensing something. Emily didn't wait to see more. She rushed toward the kitchen with urgency. Her thoughts spun in frantic circles. Someone outside was pretending to be someone else. Someone inside was sending her warnings. Neither possibility felt safe anymore. A faint vibration hummed against the counter. Her tablet screen woke on its own. A video feed appeared without her touch. It showed her backyard in grainy darkness. A man stood near the old shed. He held something glinting in his hand. He looked directly at the camera, as if aware. Emily stepped closer, unwillingly drawn in. The man lifted his hand toward the lens. The object caught the light sharply. It was a small hunting knife she recognized. The same one missing from her garage. Her breath hitched in terrified realization. The man raised the knife in a silent threat. A new message appeared on her phone instantly. "Choose carefully, one of us is lying." Emily backed away from the counter, trembling. The house no longer felt like home. It felt like a maze someone else controlled. She reached for the lights with trembling hands. Before she touched the switch, everything went dark. Emily's eyes strained in the darkness. Her pulse thudded as shadows shifted across the walls. She could hear a faint scratching from the kitchen. A soft, deliberate sound that made her skin crawl. Her hand reached for the flashlight on the counter. The beam cut a narrow path through the black. The kitchen looked empty, but the noise persisted. A cupboard door creaked slowly, as if opening itself. Emily stepped closer, heart hammering in her chest. A shadow darted across the floor behind the fridge. She whirled, but no one was there. Her mind raced with impossible explanations. Someone was playing with her fear. Her phone buzzed again with another message. "Stop hiding, I'm closer than you think." Emily swallowed hard, feeling trapped and exposed. The sound of footsteps echoed faintly from upstairs. She froze, straining to identify the direction. They moved slowly, deliberate like a predator. She felt the pendant around her neck grow cold. A memory struck her, sudden and sharp. The night the pendant was lost had ended badly. She had promised herself she would never return. But now the past had followed her home. A low whisper seemed to drift from the shadows. Emily spun around, but no one was visible. The whisper came again, clearer this time. Her name carried through the darkness, soft and menacing. She realized someone was inside the house. She backed toward the stairs, seeking higher ground. Each step made a creaking protest under her weight. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist unnaturally. At the landing, she paused to listen carefully. Footsteps approached slowly from the hallway. Emily held her breath, straining to stay silent. A door clicked somewhere above, echoing like a gunshot. She barely suppressed a scream as the pendant vibrated sharply. A window rattled from the pressure of wind outside. She glanced through the curtain, but nothing appeared. Then, a flash of movement caught her peripheral vision. A figure slipped past the hallway with unnatural grace. Emily lunged toward the living room for cover. The furniture cast long, distorted shadows. She crouched behind the sofa, trying to control her breathing. Her phone buzzed again with another message. "Don't try to hide, I see everything." Her stomach dropped. The sender's tone was cold, exact. The shadows shifted again, revealing the outline of a man. He moved with precision, careful to remain partly hidden. Emily's mind raced to recall any escape route. She thought of the back door, slightly ajar earlier. She inched toward it, flashlight cutting the path. The man's figure halted, sensing movement. A door upstairs slammed, loud and deliberate. Her heart jumped, fear twisting her gut into knots. She reached the back door, hand on the handle. The lock clicked easily, as if inviting her escape. A final message arrived on her phone instantly. "Run if you dare, but I'm already inside." Emily yanked the door open and stepped into the night. The cold air hit her face like a slap. The backyard seemed empty, but danger lurked everywhere. She didn't stop to think, only ran into the darkness. The house loomed behind her like a silent predator. Somewhere, the figure inside smiled, unseen but present. Emily ran through the backyard, heart hammering violently in her chest. The night air was sharp and biting against her skin. She could hear the crunch of leaves behind her. Something followed, precise and unrelenting. Her phone buzzed again, a message lighting up the screen. "Don't think you can escape that easily." Panic surged, making her legs burn with effort. She darted toward the fence at the edge of the yard. Her hand gripped the top rail tightly, hoisting herself over. The ground on the other side felt uneven under her feet. Branches whipped against her arms as she ran blindly. The house loomed behind, dark and silent, yet alive. Another message arrived before she could catch her breath. "Look behind you." Emily froze, every muscle tight with fear. The shadows shifted near the edge of the yard. A figure emerged from the darkness, silent and threatening. She stumbled backward, nearly falling into the garden. The pendant around her neck vibrated sharply, warning her. She clutched it desperately, trying to steady herself. The figure raised a hand, glinting in the dim light. Emily's mind raced through memories of the letters. The letters tied the figure to secrets she wanted buried. She realized the person knew more than anyone should. Her breath came in sharp, uneven gasps. The man stepped closer, deliberately slow and confident. Emily backed away, searching desperately for cover. Her foot caught on a root, and she nearly fell. The figure stopped, just a few feet away now. A cruel smile was visible in the dim light. Emily noticed a shed nearby, its door slightly ajar. She ran toward it, hopping for temporary refuge. Inside, tools hung neatly along the walls, dusty and sharp. She pressed herself against the far wall, trying to be invisible. The figure paused at the doorway, listening. His breathing was slow, deliberate, controlled. Emily's phone vibrated with another message. "Thought you could hide, think again." She held her breath, willing him not to see her. Footsteps moved away from the shed slowly, testing the yard. Emily didn't move, barely daring to blink. A distant sound of a car engine started, faint but noticeable. Her mind seized on the possibility of escape. If she could reach the street unnoticed, she might survive. She crept toward the back door of the shed quietly. Branches and leaves snapped underfoot despite her care. The man paused, hearing the faint noise. Emily froze, heart racing in her chest. Then, a sudden rustle drew his attention fully away. She seized the moment, slipping into the darkness. The street lights ahead flickered dimly, promising safety. Emily ran faster, ignoring the pain in her legs. The pendant vibrated violently, almost pulling her hand. She didn't stop to question it, only ran. Behind her, the figure in the yard waited, patient and unhurried. His shadow stretched long across the lawn. Emily reached the edge of the street, heart pounding with relief. She dared to glance back once. The house stood silent, almost lifeless again. Yet she knew it wasn't over. Someone had followed her tonight, and they would return if she let her guard down. Emily kept running, blending into the empty street. The night swallowed her small, determined figure. Every step was driven by fear and the will to survive. She didn't stop until the lights of a neighbor's porch shone ahead. Emily slowed only when she reached the safety of the neighbor's porch light. Her chest heaved, every breath sharp and ragged. The street was empty, but she couldn't shake the fear. Her phone buzzed again, another message blinking insistently. "Nice try, you're still mine." She stumbled back, heart sinking at the words. Her hands shook as she gripped the railing tightly. She realized the messages came from inside the house. Someone had full control of her life tonight. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of it all. She thought of the letters, the pendant, the man in the yard. They were all connected, leading back to one dark truth. She couldn't go home, not yet, not tonight. Emily needed to find out who was behind this. Someone she knew, someone she trusted, had betrayed her. Her eyes scanned the street for any sign of movement. Nothing stirred, but instinct screamed at her to keep moving. She decided to head toward the local diner that never closed. It was a small place, filled with light and people she could blend with. The streets were quiet, the night unusually silent. Her footfalls echoed, reminding her how alone she truly was. Every shadow seemed like it could hide her pursuer. She clutched the pendant again, seeking comfort in its cold metal. A memory of the night she lost it flashed sharply. She had been careless, trusting someone she shouldn't. Now that trust had become a weapon against her. Her phone buzzed, yet again with another chilling message. "Running won't save you, Emily." Her stomach turned, realizing the sender knew her movements. She had to stay ahead, but the fear was exhausting. She reached the diner, its neon lights cutting through the darkness. People inside laughed quietly, oblivious to her panic. Emily ducked into a booth in the corner, heart still racing. Her phone buzzed one more time, vibration trembling in her hand. She hesitated, then opened it carefully. A new photo appeared, grainy but unmistakable. It showed the front of the diner, the street outside. A shadow stood near the edge of the neon glow. Her eyes widened, recognizing the figure instantly. The man from her backyard, patient, watching, waiting. Emily's fingers trembled over the phone screen. He knew she had arrived here, knew she was trying to hide. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and adrenaline. She needed a plan, a way to turn this chase around. She scanned the diner, thinking quickly. A waitress passed by, unaware of the tension building nearby. Emily realized the shadows outside would grow if she lingered. She needed to move again, find somewhere less visible. The pendant vibrated suddenly, almost violently. It seemed to pull her toward the alley behind the diner. Emily took a deep, shuddering breath. She slipped quietly through the back door into the darkness. Every instinct screamed at her to keep silent, stay hidden. The alley was narrow, filled with trash and the scent of damp brick. She pressed against the wall, listening carefully. Footsteps approached the alley, deliberate and slow. Her heart skipped, but she remained still, barely breathing. The pendant's vibration intensified, guiding her movement. She followed it, turning corners and ducking behind obstacles. Her mind calculated every step, every possibility for escape. The man outside would not give up easily. Emily knew that tonight was far from over. She had to survive, to outsmart him no matter the cost. The night stretched endlessly, filled with unseen danger. Her only focus was moving, staying alive, and uncovering the truth. Emily pressed herself against the brick wall, heart hammering like a drum. The alley stretched dark and endless before her. She listened carefully for any sound of pursuit. Footsteps echoed faintly, but not directly behind her. Her phone buzzed once more, another message blinking ominously. "Still running, Emily, but the end is near." She clenched the pendant, its metal cold and heavy in her palm. It pulsed slightly, guiding her movements with silent insistence. Every instinct screamed to stay hidden, to move slowly and carefully. She crept forward, turning a corner into a narrower path. The city felt alive with shadows and secrets tonight. Every sound made her flinch. Every flicker of light seemed dangerous. A distant siren wailed, cutting through the tension in the night. Emily considered calling the police, but fear froze her fingers. What if they arrived too late? What if he anticipated her every move? Her mind raced, calculating every step with precision. The pendant vibrated again, stronger this time, almost urgent. She followed its pull toward a dimly lit parking garage. The concrete smelled damp and cold under her shoes. She pressed herself against a column, listening intently. Nothing moved in the garage, except the echo of her own breathing. A faint hum indicated a car idling in the distance. Her eyes narrowed, trying to identify the vehicle. The pendant pulsed violently, as if warning her of immediate danger. Emily crouched low, moving silently toward the far exit. A shadow shifted near the car, tall and still. Her pulse spiked, realizing it could be him. The figure remained motionless, but alert. Emily froze, weighing her options quickly. She could sprint past and hope he didn't react. Or she could find another hidden path deeper in the garage. The pendant's vibration seemed to point her left. She chose the left, hugging the wall as closely as possible. Her feet made barely a sound on the cold concrete. The figure shifted slightly, sensing movement but not locating her. Emily's mind raced with plans for escape. She remembered the old maintenance stairs in the corner. It was risky, but it might lead her outside safely. She crept toward the stairwell, every nerve on fire. The man's shadow seemed to move with her, a silent predator. Emily reached the stairs and climbed carefully, one step at a time. The pendant pulsed violently, guiding her with invisible precision. At the top, she peeked through the exit door. The street outside looked empty, quiet, almost too quiet. She pushed the door open slowly, stepping onto the pavement. The night air hit her face, cold and sharp. Her phone buzzed one final time with a single message. "Congratulations, you've made it for now." Emily didn't pause to read further. She ran into the shadows of the city, determined to survive. Every step carried fear, adrenaline, and cautious relief. The pendant pulsed gently, now a reminder of the danger she escaped. But she knew it wasn't over, not yet. Somewhere he was still out there, watching, waiting. Emily melted into the darkness, ready for whatever came next. Emily finally slowed on a quiet, deserted street. Her legs burned, her chest heaved with exhaustion. The city lights flickered dimly around her. She glanced back, half expecting him to appear. Nothing moved in the shadows behind her. For the first time, she allowed herself a shaky breath. The pendant pulsed gently, no longer urgent. It felt like a small comfort, a token of survival. Emily knew she couldn't return home tonight. Not while he was still out there, patient and waiting. She kept moving, blending into the streets and alleys. Every step forward felt like reclaiming a bit of control. Her phone lay silent now, no more threatening messages. For a moment, the world felt calm, almost normal. She realized the chase had changed her, sharpened her instincts. The night had tested every ounce of her courage. And she had survived it, against the odds stacked high. Emily didn't know when, or if the danger would return. But she knew she would be ready, stronger than before. She vanished into the city, a shadow among shadows, determined to endure.